I woke up to a sunrise from the north. And that's when I knew everything had changed. The sky wasn't right. The shadows were wrong. My phone had no signal and the compass spun like it was drunk. I stepped outside and felt the air hit different. Not just colder, but heavier somehow, like the atmosphere itself was trying to catch its breath. That's when the news started pouring in. One broken report after another. The Earth had rotated. 90 degrees. Sideways. I didn't believe it at first. How could I? But then I saw it with my own eyes. The sun now rose over what used to be the North Pole. Cities near the equator, Singapore, Nairobi, Quito, they were drowning in ice and snow. Meanwhile, Antarctica was melting. I mean melting. Entire glaciers collapsing into the ocean, turning the seas violent and unfamiliar. The equator, once a blazing belt of heat, had shifted to what used to be the poles. That meant new deserts were forming across Europe and Canada, while jungles bloomed across places that had never seen a real summer. My hometown, once filled with temperate forests and crisp seasons, now sweated under a sun that never used to shine so directly overhead. At first we tried to keep our routines, but time itself felt broken. Days stretched longer, 12-hour sunrises followed by 12-hour sunsets. Nights were freezing, not because it was winter, but because the angle of the earth now turned us away from the warmth for what felt like ages. My sleep cycle was wrecked. My body felt jet-lagged by the planet. Tides were no longer predictable. The oceans, confused by the sudden shift in centrifugal force, surged in strange new patterns. Some coastlines disappeared overnight. Others became deserts. Crops failed. Supply chains collapsed. The global map of agriculture unraveled like an ancient scroll in a fire. Where we once grew wheat, we now harvested only dust. And then came the wind. Oh God, the wind. With Earth now rolling on its side, jet streams twisted into wild spirals. Hurricanes formed where they weren't supposed to. Tornadoes touched down in cities that had never seen a storm. I remember watching one twist through what used to be the quiet plains of Sweden. Sweden, of all places. People migrated, not for jobs, not for war, but for survival. Entire countries emptied, borders blurred. We stopped asking where you were from. We only asked, is it safe there? But amidst the chaos, something changed in us. We stopped pretending we were separate from the planet. We saw how thin our comfort had been, how delicately balanced our world really was. I started to see others, not as strangers, but as passengers, on the same spinning miracle. Spinning sideways now, but still spinning. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if we'll adapt fast enough, or if this is the beginning of something we can't survive. But I do know this. The earth moved. And now, so must we. There's a silence now that wasn't there before. Not the kind that's peaceful, but the kind that feels like the world is holding its breath. Nights stretch on for what feels like days, and when the sun finally rises again, it's not warm, it's alien. The sky is a strange palette of burnt oranges and bruised purples. The moon hangs low and swollen, like it's staring at us sideways too, unsure of what just happened. Animals knew before we did. I remember seeing birds flying in tight, frantic circles, then vanishing entirely. The dogs barked for hours the night before the shift, pacing, whining, sensing something their instincts understood before our science ever could. The magnetic field twisted, scrambled, like a puzzle being shaken out of place. Navigation failed. Migratory paths vanished. Entire species went silent. I haven't heard the frogs at night since. I thought I'd miss the seasons the most. But what I miss is normal. The taste of strawberries in June, the way autumn used to smell, crisp and earthy, like change but gentle. Now everything smells like heat, or mold, or ash. Time is still passing, but it's not flowing anymore. It's stumbling forward, disoriented. We live underground now, most of us, or in shelters deep in mountains that weren't built for people. There's talk of rebuilding cities in the new temperate zones, but it's slow. Every plan we had for the future, solar grids, smart cities, climate goals, was written for a different Earth. This one doesn't play by those rules. We're starting from scratch, and we're doing it with fewer resources, less certainty, and a haunting awareness of how fragile it all was. And yet, I've seen people share more in these last few months than in the last few decades. Food, power, shelter, stories. I guess when the ground literally shifts beneath you, your sense of what matters shifts with it. I think the Earth was trying to tell us something, that we built our lives like we'd never have to answer to the planet. That comfort is a loan, not a right, that we're not in control, never really were. We're guests here, and now the host has reminded us of that. Some days I still hope I'll wake up and find the world tilted back, like none of this happened. But then I look up at the sky, at the sun dragging itself sideways across the heavens, and I remember this is our reality now, and somehow we have to find a way to live in it. I keep a journal now, not because I think someone will read it, though maybe one day they will, but because writing is the only thing that still feels anchored. In a world where the stars have shifted and oceans don't know where to go, words are my gravity. Yesterday, I walked to what used to be the edge of a lake. It's gone now, just cracked earth and the bleached bones of fish that never had a chance. But beyond it, where the ground used to be too frozen to touch, green things are starting to grow. Fragile shoots pushing through the dirt, as if the planet, despite everything, hasn't given up on us yet. It made me cry. Not out of sadness, but relief. A kind of quiet, aching hope. Because if the earth can adapt, maybe we can too. Children are being born into this new world. They'll never know what it was like before. Never feel snow in December or watch fireflies dance under a summer moon. But maybe that's okay. Maybe they'll build something better. Not out of denial, but out of truth. They'll learn to live with the planet instead of against it. Their myths won't be about conquering nature, but surviving with it, listening to it, loving it. Sometimes at night I climb to the surface and just watch the sky. It's still beautiful, even now, especially now. The constellations are off, yes, but they're still there, still trying to tell their stories across the void. And in those stars I see something that reminds me of us, scattered, bruised, a little out of place, but still burning. The earth rotated 90 degrees. It threw us into chaos, stripped us down, forced us to see. And maybe, just maybe, that's what we needed, not the disaster. But the wake-up call, the chance to begin again, and this time, we'll do it right. There's something haunting about the quiet after survival. It's not peace, not yet, but it's the pause where healing might begin. I think a lot about the word resilience. We used to say it like a badge of honor, but now it feels more like a prayer. Every breath, every meal, every moment of laughter that manages to rise out of the ruins, that's resilience. And it's messy. It's not heroic, like in movies. It's just getting up again, even when everything's sideways. The elders say it's like we've stepped into a second Genesis, a reset, not given, but earned, at a cost we never imagined paying. Some people still chase the old world, trying to rebuild skyscrapers and suburbs exactly as they were. But most of us know better now. We're learning to build with the earth's rhythm instead of fighting it. Homes shaped by wind instead of blocked from it. Communities that share instead of hoard. Energy drawn from the sun and sea, not ripped from the earth's skin. We lost cities, nations, maps are meaningless now, but we found something else, something older. We found each other, and we found humility. There are days when I feel the weight of it all too heavy to carry. Days when I miss things I never thought I'd miss. Traffic, coffee shops, the buzz of electricity in the air before a summer storm. But then I see someone planting seeds in thawed soil, or a child laughing as they chase a solar drone across the sky. And I remember the world didn't end. It just changed. We changed. The earth rotated 90 degrees. It bent history, cracked science, and shattered certainty. But it didn't break us. It stripped us down to something more honest, more raw. And maybe that's the real miracle, not that we survived the tilt, but that somehow we learned to stand on slanted ground. And now, with every step, we write a new story, one that belongs to this strange, beautiful, sideways world. I watched the stars last night tracing their unfamiliar paths across the sky. They don't rise or set the way they used to. They drift, slow and strange, like they're relearning the rhythm just like we are. It's eerie, sure, but it's also mesmerizing. The sky feels wider now, like it's opened up in a way we never noticed before. Some nights, when the wind is still and the power grids hold, we gather, just a few of us wrapped in layers, sitting close around quiet fires. We don't talk much. There's not always something to say. Sometimes we just listen. To the creak of trees in a new direction. To the distant groan of glaciers shifting. To each other's breathing. There's no calendar anymore. No real months, just the phases of light and dark, long days, long nights. We've started marking time by what blooms and when the birds come back, if they come back at all. A kind of living clock. Not precise, but it's enough. I've learned to tell the temperature by the taste of the air, to hear the mood of the planet in the pitch of the wind. These weren't skills I ever thought I'd need. I used to scroll weather apps, trust the numbers. Now I listen to my own skin, to the silence before the sky cracks open with storms. And strangely, I feel more alive in this version of the world. Not safer, never that, but more awake. Every action matters. Every mistake teaches something real. Every kindness ripples out wider than before. Because now the stakes aren't theoretical. They're in the soil, in the sky, in the next breath. The ice is reclaiming some places. Others are going green for the first time in memory. Nothing is where it used to be, including us. We've drifted, physically, yes, but also in who we are. There's less pretending now, less posturing. Just people, trying, failing, and trying again. I think the Earth has always been alive in a way we couldn't comprehend. And maybe this rotation, this tilt, wasn't punishment or accident. Maybe it was the Earth's way of saying, wake up, look, listen, and finally we are. The winds are quieter tonight, not calm, just resting, like everything else. Even the ground feels steadier, as if it's adjusting, settling into its new rhythm. The stars move slow, unfamiliar but steady. I've stopped trying to make them fit old constellations. I just watch them for what they are now. I don't know what comes next. No one does. But I've stopped fearing the unknown. There's a strange kind of comfort in admitting we were never in control, in letting go of the illusion. We were always guests here, temporary, fragile, and lucky. Now we're learning what it means to earn that place. And still, despite it all, life keeps finding a way. In the cracks, in the cold, in us,